Hi everyone. This is a first. This is the second video in a row inspired by Steve from All the World's a Stage. I'd noticed this thread on YouTube, and I didn't realize at first that it was Steve that started this thread. And I've been wanting to do it for a while. And it is, I have never owned a record by these five artists. So as you can see, one of the artists that Steve never owned is Billy Joel. Good, good for you, Steve. I'm just joking. I actually used to own Billy Joel albums. I used to like him. I don't anymore. But in the 70s, I was buying his albums up to, I think, The Bridge was the last one I bought. And thinking it over of, so many artists in the world. Oh, and one of the things is it has to be, a fairly well-known artist, like Steve says in the video, one that could, at least at some point sell out a 20,000 seat arena. So I've picked popular bands that just for whatever reason, I've never bought any of their albums. And what I was going to say is even for uh, like heavy metal genre, I'm not usually, except for Black Sabbath and a couple of other bands. I've never been into like Judas Priest that much, but I've bought albums by them through the years off and on. Uh, so yeah, there's just a long list of artists that I don't have in my CD collection anymore, but I did at one point. Uh, I was going to make on the list Steely Dan, but then I remembered at one point I did have Steely Dan's greatest hits on vinyl, so I did not include them. So let's get on with it. Five artists. Okay, the first one. I was never really a big fan of Southern rock, and so you'll see, I think, two bands from that genre. Actually, my favorite Southern rock band, some of you might remember, is Black Oak, Arkansas. uh, yeah, I was a huge fan of them in the early 70s and was buying some of their albums. But Leonard Skinner, total respect to them. And, I know they had a very sad history with, the plane crash and everything. Uh, Talented musicians. I love some of their songs, some of their radio hits, and Sweet Home Alabama, and many more, Freebird. But I just never had an interest in purchasing any of their albums. So that is artist number one. Artist number two, the very talented Red Hot Chili Peppers. Funky rock. Once again, amazing musicians. Uh, Recently, I was really pleased, with the Sparks documentary that the bassist Flea was a Sparks fan and a huge fan of their album Introducing Sparks. So that was cool to. And also, I think the guitarist, I think the whole band actually are fans of Sparks. So I should have them in my record collection, but I don't. Um, I'm just familiar with some of their radio hits, and I've always enjoyed them. Nothing against them at all. I just have no interest in buying their albums. So yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers. The third artist. Do you know who this band is? That's right, it's Iron Maiden. And, like I said, I bought some heavy metal throughout the years off and on. I've even bought Metallica, but just didn't keep the interest in them, even though I respect their music and I like them as a band. Judas Priest, like I said. But Iron Maiden, once again, such a talented group of musicians. But it's just, I don't know, heavy metal, I guess, isn't, besides Black Sabbath, uh, just never really interested me that much. But, you know, they're a great live band, of course, and I'm sure they put out a lot of great albums. I just have no interest in listening to them. Number 4, this one kind of hurts. Yeah, John Fogerty from Creedence Clearwater Revival. He basically was Creedence Clearwater Revival, a good 80% of it at least. And I have everything by CCR, but I've just never ever had an interest in buying his solo albums. Centerfold, the big hit, put me, I guess maybe because I never liked baseball. Put me in, coach, I'm ready to play. You know, a good commercial song. It's okay, but The Old Man Down the Road I Love sounded like, you know, early CCR. And, you know, I've listened to his stuff like on Spotify throughout the years, and it's good, but I just I just prefer Creedence Clearwater Revival over his solo career. So, sorry, John. And I'd love to see him in concert too. I know he's just still an amazing performer. And lastly, another Southern rock band. Yeah, the Allman Brothers Band. And similar to Lynyrd Skinner, they have, you know, kind of a sad history. I love the vocals of Greg Allman. Duane Allman, of course, was a superb guitarist. But I just never had any urge to buy any of their albums. And anytime I do on my Canadian Studmuffin channel, I do like a top 10 live albums. You know, the Allman Brothers Band at the Fillmore is always mentioned. You forgot this. It's like, no, I didn't. I have no interest in it. I've heard parts of it. It's good. I like some of their songs, but just, you know, overall, I'd rather listen to Yes than the Allman Brothers Band. And or the Moody Blues. And I'm not sure which channel I'll be doing it, but I did recently a video on them on this channel, and I've kind of become obsessed with the Moody Blues. So stay tuned for a video on them soon. But yeah, the Allman Brothers Band. And so I would say overall, I've tried my best, you know, in the rock genre of music. You know, Southern rock, blues rock. You know, I've tried hundreds and hundreds of artists, and some of them have come and gone from my CD collection. Fleetwood Mac, for instance. I don't have any Fleetwood Mac at the moment, but I loved Rumors, of course, and I actually loved Tusk more than Rumors. I had a Stevie Nicks, her first solo album I bought, and I don't have any Eagles. I'm not an Eagles fan, but at one point, just like everybody else, I did own Hotel California. Yeah, so that's it. I think it's a very interesting thread. So thanks, Steve. Great idea. Bye.